Okay, so I got the motor mounted, I got the hood mounted, now I'm just getting the dash mounted. As you can see, there's this gap that I have to clear in order to keep the hood level with the dash. I don't have that much sheet metal, but what I do have is a bunch of these. These are just a bunch of steel shims from my father's job site. And if you stack two of them like this, it's the perfect length for right here. So I'm gonna take a bunch of these and tack them all together like this, and then I'm gonna weld them in all along here, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. So just welding it up, and it's working out pretty good. I wouldn't call myself the worst welder in the world, but I'm gonna leave this middle section out because I think I'm gonna have my steering rod come out of there. So we'll see what happens there, but I think that's what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna make 2 more of these plates and do these corners over here, and it should be solid enough. It's just the dash, and it's already solid enough as it is. It's just the dash, it's not gonna have a lot of stress on it. So yeah, I'll give you guys updates. Just a quick update. Got the supports in the corner. The dash is very solid now. It's not going anywhere. And now the engine bay is all done, except I got to get a battery and a gas tank in here somehow. I'm going to try to get maybe I'll get a tank under the seat. I don't know. Or maybe I'll try to get one in front here. We'll see what works. But we'll definitely have a battery back there. And now at the dash here, there's a bunch of holes because this was the mower engagement. This was the throttle. There's a couple switches here. I just took off everything I didn't need. So I have my volts, well, my amps, and my key switch. And I left this switch on because I want to use the lights in the future. But now, with this dash, I'm going to weld in all these holes here and then grind them down, just so it looks better. And I'm gonna do that later, but right now I'm gonna go pull off the fenders off the mower over there, and I'm gonna try to mock them up here as well as the floorboards and the seat. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. So this is the next morning here. Yesterday I got all the body parts on, and it's looking pretty good, I think. With the hood down, it looks pretty slick. But anyways, today we're working on steering and the clutching and the shifter. So first things first, we're going to do the steering. And what I'm going to do for that, I have this steering rod here. And I have just a bushing that I made on the end of it. And I have this bearing here, and it fits perfectly in this bushing. So I know you're not supposed to weld bearings, but I'm gonna tack weld it to that bushing. And then I'm gonna tack weld this bearing. This will sit down here on the floor, so that's where the shaft will come out of. I'm going to tack weld the bearing to this. Now you can just get a bushing for your shaft, but I want a bearing because a bushing will just wear out. And I don't really care if the bearing is not smooth after. I just want something that won't wear out and I'll have tight steering. So I don't really care if I screw up the bearing a bit by tacking it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to drill a hole in there, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Just got it all tacked up, and the bearing's still spinning, so we're still in business. So now I'm going to go drill the hole in the middle there, and we're going to drop it through, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. So I just got it tacked in there. That's where roughly I want it. I know that I could go to there, but I would be a lot more hunched over if I did that. And So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to weld a piece of flat bar to the bottom of that rod, tack to the linkage, and then connect the tie rods together and get this steering working. So I'll be back when that's happening. So just a quick tip, if you guys are going to do this, I just welded this linkage to this steering rod, but take a look at your front end and take a look at your linkage there. You want to compare them, and you don't want yours to be longer than it. You want it to be the same, if not a little bit shorter. That will give you a good range with your steering. If you do it too long, it'll be like an eighth of a turn. You'll go like this, and boom, you're already at full turn, and it'll be really stupid. But I'm just letting y'all know. So I'm going to go get this mounted now. Okay, so just doing the steering here, I hooked up the tie rod to the front, and this needs to be spun this way, and we need to connect the tie rod to that. So what we're going to do, we're going to chop this tie rod probably right around here. We're going to connect this end to here, and then we're going to hold both the tie rods and use a measuring tape, and we're going to measure the distance of rod that we need to add. And once we do that, we'll be golden. So now I'm under here again. I just chopped it like I said, and then I measured the gap, and then I cut another rod, and now I just tacked it on. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop this rod, and then I'm going to weld it while it's out, because it's kind of hard to get to all the crevices while it's connected under here. So yeah, I'll be back once she's welded. Took the tie rod out, got her all welded up, and now we're going to put it back in and see if the steering linkages work. Okay, just got it hooked up, and as you can see, there's next to no play in there. Well, there's up and down movement there, but I got to weld this rod to it. But as you can see, twisting it, there's literally no play in the steering. And when I move the tires, we got steering. So that's good. And now we'll move on to the shifter next. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. Just got it all welded up. And the only play that's in it is from the bearing itself. And there's no rotational play at all. So that's really good. I'm going to weld the steering wheel on now, and I'll let you guys know how that looks. Well, I'd say I'm quite happy with this. There's absolutely no play in the steering whatsoever. The only little bit of play is side-to-side movement, and that's just from the bearing. But that's not actual linkage play. But as you can see, we got steering now, which is pretty cool. So that's that. Now we're going to move on to the shifting linkage. I'll show you guys what I'm thinking for that. I'm thinking of, so the shifter linkage is right there. You can see the tie rod. I'm thinking of putting a lever right here that'll come up to like right here, and I'll be able to switch through gears right here. So I'm going to try to think of something to do that, and I'll get back to you. I just thought I'd get a video of it running for you guys. It sounds pretty mean. Okay, so we just dropped the oil in the motor because we just have it on its side. We don't want any oil going into the cylinder. It wouldn't matter if it did, but it's just an extra precaution, and I want to change the oil anyways. So this is what we're gonna do for the clutching system. We're gonna take off this big ass pulley here. I believe it's a 9-inch pulley. And you see this? See how the bore sizes are different? Well, this circle here and that outer circle there are basically the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off this pulley, cut out that inner circle, cut out this. Well, no, I have a different pulley which I'll cut it out from. But I'll cut this out, and then I'll weld it into the center of this pulley, try to get it as centered as I possibly can. And then we'll put it on there. And I already have a pulley for the back. I don't have to make one for the back, so that's good. And then we will we'll have to delete the old clutch system. So take off the spring, take off this linkage, and we're gonna have to move it from here to probably around here, because the pulley's gonna be so much bigger. So we'll get to doing that, or maybe even I'll have it back over here where nothing won't be in the way of this. We'll see what we'll do. So let's just start making these pulleys first. So after like 30 minutes of angle grinding, finally got the bushing off. And I've got this center hollowed out. I don't have to get that because it's big enough. But now I'm going to put this in there as center as I can and weld her up. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Just got finished welding this thing, and you got to do the same thing with the front end. So I did 8 tacks in a star pattern, because you don't want this to be warped at all, or else your pulley will be twisting while it's spinning and it'll be unbalanced. So you want to just do tacks to get it all nice and center. Then after your tacks, you want to make sure it's nice and center, and then you'll just lay a bead all on it, which is what I did. And you'll want to do a pretty good job. I know this looks like dog shit because it's flux core, but underneath it, it'll look pretty good. Underneath it doesn't look that bad. But you want to, all I'm saying is you want to make sure you weld it pretty damn good, because this pulley is handling all 18 horsepower. So you don't want to skimp out on it. Now we're going to go put this pulley on the front. Already got the rear pulley on. And then we'll do the rest of the clutch system. Just got the front pulley where I wanted it. I did weld it onto the crankshaft because, number one, I have access to a torch so I could take it off if I ever need to. And number two, I don't need to take it off. So I'm fine with just welding it on there. And for the rear pulley, oh, nothing much is going to happen with that. Now I just need to put an idler pulley somewhere around here, and then I also need to put the clutch somewhere around here, so we'll get to that. So back at it, we got this clutch on, and we need to extend the linkage for it to that, and we do not need an idler pulley. And after we extend that linkage and we get a spring on, the clutch will be done. So I'll get back to you after that's done.